Hello. This today I am here to make this speech to speak. I am going to talk about executions. You know them all. You know them all. You know the hanging. You think you know them all. You know the hanging. You know the slicing neck. You got the gun, electric chair, bullet. That's also gun. You think you know them all. You think. But you don't. That's why you need me. You need me to teach you about the one that everyone does and doesn't know. The whole shebang. The one that everyone knows, but they don't know what it's called. That's right. I'm talking about the guillotine. The guillotine was invented back in the French Revolution in 1790s when they said, "Hey, I want you to go make a more humane execution that's quick and painless." And the person they said that to was Dr. Guillotine. And he invented the la guillotine, a sharp razor at an angle which is basically like attached to some wood, pulls like a string or something like that, goes down, hits the person's neck, chops it off, blood flies everywhere, person dead. Quick, painless, and solutionist. But no one knows that it was originally, there were ideas of something like that back in the Middle Ages. Let's see here. I got a list of names. We got the planky. Is also a beheading device. The mania, something like that. And the Scottish maiden. Last one notorious for some reason. It was also one of the most popular events. It was a major event. People would go there, look at people get decapitated all the time. Them criminals. And they loved it. They loved it. Loved it. It was like when you're out of the water park, they get the splash. It's like that, except instead of water, it's blood, and that's the difference. A very, very stupid difference. No one likes ice that watery. It was also a popular children's toy. They would get like a mini version, chop little dolls' heads off. And it was also a little novelty thing at the table. Cut bread, some fruits, vegetable slicers. It's weird. Why would you do that? The children's version, of course, got thrown away. They banned it. You can't have miniature guillotines because it encouraged violence, and no one wants their finger cut off. No one wants that. No one wants that. The guillotine operators were also national celebrities. National. On a worldwide scale. They were national. Not on a worldwide scale, but to French. They were national. They were popular. They were very popular. Especially and I'm going to try to pronounce this to the best of my ability, Samsung family. They were a state executioner. They were responsible for dropping the blade on King Louis the 15th? 15th? You should name him something else by the time you get 15. Louis Jr., George, Oprah Winfrey, anything. Just not King Louis XV and Marie Antoinette. It's famous for getting executioned, though they weren't executioned at the same time. Marie Antoinette was a little later. And then, of course, scientists have conducted some gruesome studies. Apparently, spectators claim to see its cheeks flush in anger of the heads. I ain't gonna go into detail on that. It was also used into Nazi Germany. The Nazis, of course, they would use it. It makes sense. I mean, more people know they were burned alive or poisoned in the shower, but it makes sense. The guillotine makes sense. The guillotine's also known as the national razor of France. National, worldwide razor. I don't know why it's national. Only one bit of it's really the razor. The rest is wood. I don't get it. It was also last used in 1970s, 1977. Some guy got his head chopped off. Then a couple whole year, 5 years later in 1981, they said, hey, get rid of this. I don't like it. It's just... It's got a bad rap. We should get rid of it. Get rid of the national razor. It's giving us a bad reputation. And they just got rid of it. And France abolished capital punishment for good. And you might be wondering, well, who are the most famous people executed by the guillotine? And I'll tell you. Sure, you got your Marie Antoinette and King Louis XV, but you don't know the most underappreciated execution. A lawyer, this weird lawyer that led the revolution. The whole reason he got executed was because it happened during the Reign of Terror, where I think his name was Roosevelt, said, hey, all anti-revolutionaries to the guillotine. You look like you're thinking anti-revolutionary thoughts. To the guillotine. You look like you just said, and you thought the king was a good person, yet you still love the revolution. Guillotine. Basically, anyone who said anything could go to the guillotine. You could walk up to people and you could say, hey, they've been talking smack about the whole revolution, and you'll have them put on trial. And they'll probably get executed if you're lucky, taking a metaphorical shoulder off your shoulders and a literal one off theirs. But the way the Reign of Terror ended was with the execution of Roosevelt, I think his name was. I could be wrong, though. And he got his head chopped off because he did something along the lines of this. It wasn't because he thought he was a god or the other executions. It's because he did something like this. He held a meeting where he said, okay, I have these papers that say names of enemies that will be executed. And many of you are on there. But I'm not going to tell you who. What do you think of that? And the others were like, I think we should send Roosevelt to the guillotine first. All in favor? And everyone raised their hand there. And Roosevelt, I think his name was, said, oh no! And then he was executed 2 days later, ending the Reign of Terror. And the monarchy was replaced with an absolute dictator. We went from an absolute monarchy to an absolute dictator. I'm not sure which is worse. So what can we take away from this speech? Well, a few things. There are a few things. We can take away the fact that the national razor is no longer their national razor. The whole thing was invented by a guy named Dr. Guillotine, and it's weird to have something where people get executed named after you, and that you shouldn't let children play with knives or sharp razors, because eventually they'll cut their fingers off and then chop their brothers' heads off for thinking anti-revolutionary thoughts. That's a lesson. So that's today's lessons on history. Next, we'll talk about who knows at this point what we're talking about. But we'll probably talk about history. See you then.